Yeah, I just want to end by thanking KCRG and the Gazette again for putting on this event, as well as all the members of the audience and everyone watching at home. I really appreciate all of the work that the candidates have done. It's really important to get involved in the political process. It's important to go out and vote. And I want to see everyone at the polling places on November 8th. We may not always agree on every issue, but that's healthy. It's good for us to not agree on everything. But I want everyone to know that I've got 2 ears, and I'm going to use them every day. I want to hear your concerns. And I also want to hear what you think is good about the community. I want to listen to everybody. With my years of Taekwondo experience, I've gained leadership experience. With my years studying finance, I've gained financial experience. I think that's what the city needs right now. They need a leader, and they need someone who knows finance. Let's get our books back in order. Let's start paying off some of our debts. The city pays millions of dollars in interest alone on its debts. I owe no one. I'll be a leader, and I'll help straighten out our books. I appreciate everyone who goes out to vote. Let's focus on roads. Let's focus on public safety. And finally, let's quit raising taxes on the people. Taxes keep going up, and it needs to stop. If we ever expect to see economic development in this town, we have to quit raising taxes. And we're trying to say that we don't have money to repair this. We have money to repair our entire downtown. That's the question I want to keep bringing up. Where are our priorities? We've had Westdale suffering for a long time, but there's plenty of parking. It's convenient. It's in an easy location. You can go to Westdale and then hop over to the movie theater. You can get something to eat. It's convenient. This should be an excellent attraction in Cedar Rapids, but the city has let it go downhill. Yeah, it's all about the money. And in the end of the day, this ends up just being more government revenue. And I'm just going to reiterate what I said earlier. We can't keep raising revenue. The government cannot keep taking our money, because in the end of the day, are our services getting better? Are our roads getting fixed? Is our public safety getting better? No, it's not. And that is the problem I have with these cameras. In the end, it's just more government revenue.
I just have to agree with Jesse.
Code enforcement employees, employment in code enforcement has doubled in the last 2 years. There's more red tape, there's more taxes, it's more difficult to start businesses here, and we need to grow jobs. We're not going to grow jobs the path we're going now, and so I would fight to change that. Generally, I would say that we have too many regulations, too many codes. I was talking with the Home Builders Association, for example, and they were telling me every time they want to build a new house, the codes have changed. They got to figure out what those changes are because they aren't notified. There are too many codes, and because of it, we have to keep hiring new code enforcement employees just so they can keep track of what the codes are. We have too many regulations. We need to ease up on them, make it easier for people to build houses, make it easier to build affordable housing. Codes in general just end up being red tape, especially the amount of code we have now. Effectively, you can use the money that is thrown into roads. And I also want to reference Mr. Potsmek, since we are going to be filling his position. He's a pretty big biker. I'm pretty sure he's the council member that he said he's biked on every street in town. And I feel for him, because some of those streets are pretty bad. It is a question about priorities. You know, we have a $107 million convention center, but our roads are worse. Where's our priorities? That's a huge question. And I know that we couldn't have used the convention center money for the roads, but it's still a question of priorities. In addition to roads, we have an infrastructure problem. It's not just our roads that are a problem. Our sewers are bad. Our sidewalks are bad. It's a general infrastructure problem. We're all paying our taxes. City revenue is going up, but our roads are not improving.
you propose, this is to you, Justin, what do you propose the city should do to deal with this?
And I'm glad you mentioned my neighborhood because it is a great place to live. Anyone who's gone to my house loves the people down there. It's really, and like you mentioned, this is a great town too. The problem is that I think our priorities are off. It's a few bad apples that give the Wellington Heights a bad name. And I think one of the solutions I've heard is community policing. We need to get a dedicated group of officers to go into this area regularly, on a regular basis, and police these areas. And I've heard that this has been effective in other parts of the country, where if you get the same officers going to the same areas, you get to almost become friends with those officers. And that's why it's called community policing, because the police are becoming a part of the community. And that's been shown to weed out some of these bad apples that, for example, get the Wellington Heights reputation.
I agree with Justin.
To add on to that flood protection comment, I believe that this city can afford flood protection on its current budget. We need to quit trying to raise the taxes on the people to try and pay for flood protection. Let's do it in our current budget. For example, why are we building a convention center in an area that got flooded before we're building flood protection? It's a question about priorities. My priorities are roads, public safety, and keeping our taxes down. These priorities will encourage growth, rather than, if we increase taxes, we'll discourage growth. If our roads keep getting worse every year, we're going to discourage growth. If our public safety gets worse, we're going to discourage growth. I want to promote businesses to come to town. That'll be my number one goal, especially since unemployment's been going up. There's been from 2009 to 2010, our unemployment rate increased. This needs to stop. We need to get Cedar Rapids back on a track so that people like me, young professionals, want to come here. So that people like me want to raise their family here. So that people like me can retire here someday. We'll bring people if we focus on the foundation.